So the Kraven movie has 14% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I feel it's very unfair because this movie wasn't really that bad of a movie, honestly, compared to Madam Web and the Morbius movie. I mean, it's on the level of the Venom movies, but they're all mediocre, let's be honest. The Sonyverse movies are not very great. Craven's casting choices was questionable to me when I first saw that they were going to make a Craven movie with, of course, without Spider-Man. I'm like, why? The casting choice, I'm like, why? But overall, the movie was all right. I mean, most of the visual effects, like the CGI, was fine until probably the third act and maybe like the final scene with some of the animals, but I would say the action and the gore was pretty good. Some of the acting was a little off, and I feel like the flashback scene with Craven when he was younger was a little too long, in my opinion. And this time we get the Rhino again, and he's a little bit better than the Amazing Spider-Man 2, but there are some goofy moments. Like he makes like a weird cat hiss noise sound when he got angry in one of the scenes. It was really, I don't know what to say. I was like, what the heck was that? But there's a Calypso. She's boring, bland, in my opinion. The acting could have been better with her. Chameleon was Dimitri, which is Chameleon. He was pretty good overall. They have a brief glimpse moment of him being Chameleon, and it was comic book accurate, but it was only 5 seconds, which of course bothers me. And of course, he doesn't wear the iconic outfit until the end of the movie. And Russell Crowe is really good in this movie, despite being in a not so great movie, but he gives a really good performance. He plays Craven's dad. He's kind of an a-hole in this movie. He's like a mafia boss man, Russian boss man guy. Overall, the pacing could have been a little bit better. I mean, the action scenes definitely are they're one of the better Sony action movies. But overall, the pacing and some of the tone shifts, like it be serious and then it'll be like MCU level goofiness. But overall, I'll give it a 6.5. I mean, honestly, 14% is a little harsh on it, and IGN gave it a 3. Nah, it's at least a 6.5. I mean, this might be the last Sony Marvel movie of the Sonyverse, and honestly, if that's the last one, that's fair. But I really thought that it was a decent movie, not spectacular. I mean, it doesn't have Spider-Man in it. It's not gonna be spectacular, but you know, I felt like it could have been better, but it Sony just needs to stop making they need to stop making Marvel movies without Spider-Man in it, for real, cuz they're not going to get you tickets to. I mean, like Venom was decent, Venom 2 was decent, Venom 3 was okay, Madam Web was terrible, Morbius was, I would say, horrible but not good. But Craven's in that middle area, in the middle gray area. But at least the Rhino wasn't a complete moron in this movie. But like I said, he's still very goofy in certain scenes. And it's a little more comic book accurate costume, even though that it was CGI'd. But I guess that's the best they can do for that type of costume if you see what he looks like in the comics. But I mean, he could have been a little more beefy. Same thing with Kraven. I felt like Kraven was miscasted don't get me wrong, he did the best he could, but I feel like if Josh Brolin was a little bit younger and he didn't play Thanos and Cable, I think he would have been a really good Kraven. But yeah, I would go see it, but don't expect a masterpiece.